Well, despite some of the setbacks and unfortunate draws this season, I am excited heading towards the end of our penultimate season of this save. We have got a real opportunity this summer to go big and improve this squad and hopefully make history in a Champions League. We've got 3 players in the top 50 of the next gen list, including the number 1 in Matthew Freeman. And today we're playing an Irish Cup final. I'm sure they're all going to feature. Yes, hello and welcome along to part 178 of this Build a Nation story, Lifting Spirits with me, Daniel. We are back today for the Irish Cup final, following our best ever league season in this save. We went invincible for the first time last year, and this time we dropped just 2 points. An incredible effort, some poor performances elsewhere, but we are in really good nick. As I mentioned, Matthew Freeman has won the Next Gen Award, Belicci won European Golden Boy, and we had 2 other players in the top 50 in the Next Gen who both belong to Lisburn Distillery. So if you're looking forward to seeing who they are, how our squad is looking at the minute and what our plans are for the summer, then please do put a thumbs up on the video. Don't forget we've got another Wonder Kid already agreed to join, and I'm hoping we'll be able to add 1 or 2 more bits of Stardust to really take us to the next level for our final season. Let's start though, before we go into all the off the pitch stuff with the schedule, because since you were with me, you will be unsurprised to know we've won every game. After going close against Barcelona in the last episode, we did have a bit of a hangover 2 days later. We had to rotate heavily against Crusaders and it almost cost us, but we won in the end. Cameron Thompson getting his first goal in a while, and then the rest of the time it's been fairly comfortable. We won the SPFL final 2-1, Jen getting a late goal to make it 2-0. We almost got pegged back, but it was a comfortable win. And then the last 2 games against Linfield and Larne, not the biggest wins in the league, and another one of the red cards in a big game. Hopefully, that won't settle this final today. But overall, we're looking really good at the minute. We've of course got a superstar coming in the summer. We have agreed 1 other little deal as well. More a youngster to come in who can make a profit in the future. He's not a great player, but I want to get him in Northern Ireland and try and sell him on for a few mil. But this guy, Del Guidice, is the man coming in this summer. The 2-footed Wonder Kid looks brilliant. He's going to have more competition for places than he expected as a number 10. Because Belicci, the man who would only sign deals with a release clause before, he has now signed a proper one. 30 grand a week and yes, a relegation release clause, but most importantly, no minimum fee release. He will not be sold without us knowing. The rest of the team is looking brilliant. Most of it is tied down to 2 or more year deals. And we've got brilliant players in the top 50 when it comes to the next gen. So surprisingly, Matthew Freeman won it. And that is despite the fact that he's not listed as a Wonder Kid. And I'm not quite sure why, because he's already bordering on world class. He's brilliant, but it's not quite happened for him for some reason. Brilliant defender, definitely first choice now, and number 1 in the next gen list. The others are Hector Schweb, who was in the 30s. He is a very good Wonder Kid. Now probably our backup centre half, but that back 3 tactic next year, he's going to be an absolute gem in. And then the third one is the new January signing. Let me go and find him on the bench. Where is he? He is Diego Rodriguez. He's got a hat-trick on his Uruguay debut, improving massively already. And he's starting to look a superstar. I mean, honestly, we have got a squad full of very close to world-class players now. Yes, some of the backups are pretty average. They're championship/low Premier League level. And yes, we've got a few stragglers where we've got to meet the quotas for the backup team. So Owen Kidd is one of them. The backup keeper McDade as well, where we've got to have homegrown players. But overall, we have got a brilliant squad. We're the strongest we've ever been. You can see people improving all the time. And we've got players who are genuine specialists in their position. So we've definitely got ourselves into a great nick. It's a shame we couldn't get 2 or 3 more years in, because I feel like we're on the cusp of brilliance here. But for you guys taking over the save, it's going to be great fun at the end. We've got 1 more year to get through though, so let's get through this cup final. We'll come back with our plans for the summer and see if there's any news on that pesky stadium upgrade which we were promised a year or so ago. It is Linfield Distillery. Of course, Linfield stopped the clean sweep by winning the Antrim Shield, but we've got a chance to win all the big ones, and I'm hoping we can finish that tonight. They're starting Nick Atkins up front, their first superstar signing in January. He scored 23 and 19 since joining the club. Mackey's up there as well. Holmes and Beaton both involved. We know they've got good players in this side. They just haven't got the same quality of manager that they used to have. So we're going to make a lot of changes because this is the backup team that played in midweek. So let's go and get our 11 done, and we'll be back in a minute to run through it. Well, here is what I believe to be our strongest team in this formation today. And you can see Rodriguez has broken through on the left, partly due to a Matulovic injury, but he is also now just better than him. And he plays well as an inverted winger because he's such a good finisher and he's so creative on the ball. We've also gone for Azier at left back just because I want the more defensive option here, especially against the two up front. And for some reason, our assistant has put the centre-halves the wrong way round, but Puric definitely first choice. So we've gone for Ekon in goal, Freeman and Azier the fullbacks, with Puric and O'Donnell centre-half, Xavier and Montero the midfield two, Belicci behind Hendry up front, and out wide it is Nenad Paleka and Diego Rodriguez, the superstar. Let's go and submit the team for this one. We've got a brilliant bench if we need it, but it only takes one stupid red card, and the curse could end up settling this cup final. Let's get through to it and see if we can avoid it. Well, here we go. It's two changes for Linfield, and it's a really strong side. Ritchie and Moran, the left wing, are the players that they signed last summer for big money, about 5 million combined. Kashif Beaton is our former star. Holmes is brilliant on the right, and we know all about Atkins and Mackey up front. So let's go and get through to the first half of this one. They are a team that on paper can cause us trouble with their first 11. They don't have that squad depth yet to compete with the fixture congestion. They're struggling a bit more as other teams in the league get better. And of course, we've got stronger as well. But Linfield have got a corner. And it's our former man Kashif Beaton to take it, who always seems to do something against us. Big ball to the back post. Ritchie's up. Rodriguez heads it away. Atkins to the byline. Cuts back inside. Black's got a chance to shoot. And it's in via Ekon. Linfield ahead within 6 minutes. Nick Atkins turns his man and sets it up, and Black puts it in. That is a big problem. We now go from the kickoff with Hendry. And this is what I mean, when they can put all 11 out, they're a good side. As Xavier Sinter finds Freeman at right back, he can carry it forward. Sinter gives it to Paleka. Through ball is ambitious, but Ademir can't get there. And Beaton will bring it away. Sinter chases. Just enough on the pass, and now Ritchie finds Mackey. Good 1-2. Freeman does well though. Chaotic end-to-end game so far. Paleka through to Hendry. Oh, just over here. Just beyond Hendry and into the arms of Davis, who did really well to come and smother it. Puric heads away, the long goal kick. Are we just watching this full match now? Is it that entertaining? Long ball forward towards Hendry. Beats Moran to the challenge. He's got an overlap if he can find it. Paleka's there, two in the middle, deflects to the edge of the box, and Davis can't deal with it. Ademir Belicci 6 yards out, just nods it, guides it into the corner of the net, and it's 1-1 after 7.5 minutes, but it has been a brilliant game of football so far. And with 25 on the clock, it mercifully seems to have calmed down a bit, though Montero doing what he does best and giving the ball away in the middle of the park. Through ball to Holmes, it could be costly. Oh my word. This has been a really poor defensive display so far. Montero loses the ball in the middle. The attacking players aren't having much of an impact. I really don't know what to do here. I've berated the lads and we have seemingly got a morale response, but not sure what it'll do in terms of performance as Puric is up at the back stick and his header goes over the bar. After half an hour, Linfield lead. And Kashif Beaton has set up a goal. Atkins the sign has set up a goal. They signed 2 or 3 more like Atkins this summer. We could be under threat a bit more as Freeman gets away down the right hand side. He gets to the byline. There's men in the middle. Cuts it back to Paleka. Options inside include Xavier. Finds Ademir Belicci. Chance to cross. There's 2 in there. Rodriguez is 1. Oh, I was already celebrating. He's hit the post. You've got to score them, I'm afraid. Holmes brings it away. Rodriguez has had a stinking game actually. And at half-time I will take him off. Not the best first half performance from us. We're still unfortunate to be behind. But it is 2-1. I'm disappointed with that. Now let's take off both wide men. They're frustrated. They're losing discipline. They've been a bit aggressive. I'm going to go for Zheng on the left in place of Rodriguez. Rivera on the right in place of Paleka. And again, due to the quality of the squad now, you don't really notice a difference in quality. But We do need to get a better performance in here. Azie's not having a great game at left back, so I might bring Timofeyev on as a more attacking option soon. And in midfield, Montero's not been great. I mean, Hendry struggled. It's just not been great up there, has it? As Ademir Bilici gets it down for Rivera. This is the chance as Hendry finds Xavier. Free in the middle. Lays it to Hendry. That's more like what we do. 4 players in attack. All running at the defence and being brave. And we get our reward. It's 2-2 on the day. And this cup final is well and truly on. As with just over an hour on the clock, we are going to make some changes. Timofeyev will come on at left back as a more aggressive option. I'm going to take Montero off for Bayavang and switch the midfield too. We've got 1 remaining if we need it. But for now, with 25 to go, we are well and truly back in this game. We need to get a bit more out of the lads because the response isn't really there as Bayavang puts a cross in, cleared away downfield. Freeman will bring it down for O'Donnell. Chance to play into Bayavang. Back to O'Donnell again. Into Xavier. Through to Ademir Bilici. Rivera's got in with a good first touch. And Hina Rivera has scored his 4th for the year. Pops up with very few goals, but they're normally pretty big ones. And this time he's given us a 3-2 lead. The Irish Cup final is in our hands. And for the first time, we lead in this fixture. Let's see who we can bring on for the final sub. Do you know what? I might do Bilici because he's struggling a bit. Bo Harris can come on as the number 10. He's had a really good season when he's contributed. Unfortunately, United want 25 million and he's only got 1 year on his deal. But if we have to pay it, we will. As Harris cuts inside, goes back to Freeman. Oh, it's an underhit pass. He might have lost his deal there. Hughes gets away down the left. Freeman does brilliantly to hold him up, then force him backwards. Superb Matthew Freeman. Big switch of play to Holmes though. The danger's not gone. Through ball to Atkins. Puric has missed it. Oh, the other change I was contemplating was Schweb for Puric. And I should have done it. I mean, how is Ekon being blamed for that goal? Seriously. Something that's got to be fixed next year. How is Ekon getting blamed for Puric missing a very simple header at the back, misjudging the flight of the ball? We're going to encourage the lads, but it's back to 3-3 as Bayavang goes through to Hendry. It's just over here. And now, the job is probably to make it to extra time with the 5 subs made. We've just got to hold on as Shane Davis has it at the back. Big ball forward. Bayavang heads it half away. Timofeyev back to the keeper. I'm not sure we needed to see that, but he plays a 1-2 with Ekon. Brings it away downfield. Harris gets it through. Zheng's on the counter. He's in one-on-one. Zheng! Oh, deflected into the keeper's arms. We cannot find a way through here. We should have scored 6 or 7. And we certainly shouldn't have conceded 3, but we've gifted them. And it might get worse. O'Donnell's missed his header. Oh, what is happening? What the hell is happening in that defence? He's blamed Ekon again. Seriously. Can someone explain to me how it's the goalkeeper's fault that our 2 centre-halves have let the ball bounce and missed headers? What is Ekon supposed to do other than come for a one-on-one and try and close the angle? As Harris gets it back to Freeman, we're into the 4th minute of 5 added on. We've gone attacking, we've had no response. And Atkins is in behind, we're all at sea. Now we're chasing the game, we're in big trouble. And Hughes should have scored that. He's put a sitter over the bar to keep it 4-3. And I'm not sure what we do because this is the last chance surely. Freeman gets down the right-hand side. Has people to run out. Founds Bayavang and now Rivera. Free in the middle. It's the last chance. Deflects for a corner kick. The final corner of the season may stop us from heartbreak because Linfield are about to shock us in the Irish Cup final here. I said about how positive I felt this season, and now this big team are letting me down as Timofeyev has lost the ball to Atkins. If they can keep him this summer, he's going to be a star. Rivera down the left. There's 5 seconds to go. Holmes wins the challenge. It's game over. We've lost 2 trophies in a year, and this side full of wonderful young talent, it's lost on the big stage. I'm wondering, for the big cup finals and the games against Linfield, do I go for that back 3 as well? Do I go for it generally? I don't know. It's a 4-3 defeat. I don't really want to watch them lift the trophy. It was disappointing. It is only 4 trophies this year. And in the grand scheme of where we are in this save, that is an absolute disaster. let's go and have a look at what we plan to do with the squad this summer, and hopefully you'll be able to help me make some big decisions. Well, the good news we can take from that is that the prize money is going up for the runners-up. It's also going up in the league. We got about 400 grand in prize money this year. However, that is a very devastating way to end because we should be doing better than that. Let me very quickly show you how Lyon got on in their Europa run because it did go a little bit further. They got through Olympiacos in the next round. They won 3-1 on aggregate, but they were hammered by Everton a round after, and they went out in the semi-finals. So no repeat of their success. I do want to show you the coefficient because it is part of the problem as we head towards the end of this save. That now, as a result of what happened this year, I think we're dropping to 11th place. We are. So we have fallen behind Greece, which has had a great run this year. Olympiacos got to the quarters. AEK did the same in the Conference League. And our other sides just aren't competing that much. So despite the fact we've had our best ever year, we are falling behind another nation. We will drop to 11th place. But it's getting very tight up there with the Dutch not far behind and the Belgians and the Czechs not too far ahead. That could be a fun side effect for you guys to focus on in the next few years if you take over this save. But for now, let's go and have a look at our squad because we have got a few dilemmas this summer, despite the fact I'm relatively happy with the team we've got. Because of course, we've got to make a decision tactically. Do we go all out for the 5-3-2, which all of our signings this season suit better? We've bought in an additional brilliant centre-half. If Harris comes in, he's naturally a centre midfielder anyway. We've also bought in two very good wing-backs in Timofeyev and Rivera. And we've bought in Rodriguez, who's another great striker. And alongside Hendry, would possibly be an absolute superstar. So it does leave me with some decisions to make. Of course, the losers from that would be the likes of Balikci, would be the likes of Zheng out wide, and obviously would be the fullbacks as well. Matthew Freeman, Gavin Reed, Azier too. But in those big games, we look better at it. I think what I'm more inclined to do at the moment is stick between the two. The biggest games going for the 5-3-2 and the regular games going for this 4-2-3-1 to keep as much attacking talent on the pitch as possible. I'd love to know what your thoughts are on that. We've also got to decide what we want to do this summer because the one thing we know is that we are going to play 5-3-2 in Europe. And the thing we were missing from it this year is a specialist holding midfielder. Now, it's a bit of a tricky void to fill this summer because we're going to ask someone to come in and be our big European holding midfielder, good enough for those nights to make a difference, but then say, actually, we're going to play a league tactic most of the season that won't suit your game at all. So I'm wondering if we can get someone who's perhaps a fullback or a centre midfielder who can also do that role naturally. But if we can find the best specialist we can for it, it might be something we just have to accept and make it work. I'm also looking at players who are on loan this season. We've mentioned the deal with Harris, but Matulovic, I don't think I can justify bringing back because we're talking about a huge wage contribution for someone who's not going to get that much football. If we're not going to be playing with wingers every game, we've already got Zheng, Rodriguez, Paleka, Balikci, Rivera. They can all play in those positions, potentially Harris if we get him back. We don't need another one in this squad when we're going to be using those wingers for, a third less games next season potentially. So that's something we probably have to let go as well. And Matulovic may be a casualty of that. He started the season really well, but definitely faded. And we're also very close on the homegrown quota, which means we're going to have to make some tricky decisions with players we've been loyal to. The likes of Mark Scully and Johnny Maraval Austin, it possibly will be a goodbye this summer. Certainly will be for one of them, because we can't carry both in this squad. We've already got 2 or 3 great strikers. We don't need another 2, even for the games where we're playing 2 up front. And I feel for someone like Scully, who is now 30 years of age, 31 in fact, maybe it's the end for him, unfortunately. Maraval Austin not far behind that either. But we've got to prioritise, and getting a holding midfielder of the top level is definitely part of that. And potentially, if we're going 2 up front, do we say getting another striker is? Rodriguez might be that man. We've got a wonder kid coming in as a number 10. I feel we're better for attacking talent, but there are definitely still some weaknesses. I'm happy with the centre-halves we've signed this year, despite that disaster in the final. And we've also got great fullbacks who continue to improve. And I think that is the biggest overall message of this team, which we've got to bear in mind. These young players are some of the best youngsters in European and world football. And the only thing they need is time and experience to develop. And We have got great facilities now. We're playing in a higher reputation league, which hopefully will improve again. But we've got to give them time. And unfortunately, due to the nature of the save and where we are with FM24 coming, we just haven't got that time in our own game to give them more than a year to get to it. I fully believe if I made one change to this squad and brought in a holding midfielder, that in 3 or 4 years, this team would be world class. But we haven't got 3 or 4 years. You guys are going to have a great benefit from this because I'll pass you over the save after, and it looks like you're going to have a brilliant time. I'll be really intrigued to see what happens when we hand it over to the AI. We'll resign at the end of next season, and we'll do a 5 years in the future and see how far they go. But we have got one more big push to come before that. Yes, it was a very disappointing end to the season. Yes, we threw away 2 trophies we should have won. But we have got one more chance to have a go at the Champions League. And I want to reach at least the quarter-final. We're going to try and sign a super holding midfielder to make it happen. I will still consider a big upgrading goal if we can find one. But for now, let me know in the comments what you would do with this squad. Any other weaknesses you perceive that I maybe don't realise. And do you think we're going to have any chance of going better? Or has it come just too late for these brilliant young players? Let me know what you think Linfield will do as well. Do you think they'll go and get a few more of Nick Atkins' quality? Can they be a real threat next season? And can they go further in Europe? Or will it be us flying the flag again at the top level? Let me know your thoughts on that. If you did enjoy this episode, a disappointment to finish against Linfield in the Irish Cup final, and please do put a thumbs up on it. Subscribe down below for daily Football Manager content, as we'll have a special look ahead for save ideas for FM24 this weekend, before this one returns on Monday and every weekday next week for a final season of the save. It should be a very big transfer special. I'm hoping we'll find a superstar. Make sure you come and join me to find out. I'll also be announcing my FM24 saves this weekend, and that is always one of my favourite weekends of the year. You can also find regular live streams up on Twitch. The football podcast is up in the eye above too, and a link to pre-order FM24 is down in the description below. But thank you very much for watching as always and joining me for another season. The next one will be our 20th and final in charge, so we'll be back on Monday to see if we can have a real go.